It's always good for us to say, when I came, there wasn't that much activity going on in North Africa. And this whole notion of, development partners talking about Sub-Saharan Africa and North Africa, and labeling North Africa as an Arab, thing. Even in the UN, I used to fight that. We don't call, North Africa as Africa. And they have even the director of Africa, is Sub-Saharan Africa, and the directorate of the North Africa is the Arab. In Morocco, you must have seen, the regional director for Africa, the regional director for North Africa is the regional director for Arab countries, and Middle East. And the regional director for Africa is Sub-Saharan Africa. So that should stop. I used to fight it, I'll fight it. So when I came, I think that philosophy was, whether we like it or not, was, governing the actions. And therefore there was little work done or little engagement with the North African countries. And believe it or not, in 2 years, I have been to Morocco 10 times. So you cannot, in 2 years, I've been to Tunisia 3 times. In 2 years, I've been in Libya. When no one was going to Libya, I was the first one to dare it. And people even were even surprised that I would go to Libya. And, I enjoyed it thoroughly. And really. And therefore, I think we are one Africa. That kind of notion should be the one that we should promote. We are one Africa. There is no North Africa, South Africa, and all these things. For, functionally, yes, but, as Africans, we should know that we are one. And in all the interactions that I had, be it in Tunisia, in Morocco, and elsewhere, for example, the Special Economic Zone Federation is there in Morocco.
And you were also in Morocco
and I was there.
in December,
I was there. And we are working together, fascinating and, really impressive lady. And we're working together in supporting all these other SEZ and coming out with a policy that is progressive, whatever. And I saw, I was with the your Minister of Plan. Sometimes it's not money or big project. Sometimes for me, what is very important is having that access and calling them and I say, what do you think of this? And getting their advice, because I am at the service of all the African member states. Believe it or not, we are servant organizations. You're not going to serve us. You don't do us any favor. We have to come there and try to offer our services and be relevant to countries. So we are working together, even in terms of the Pan-African youth. We're supporting them and they are based there in Morocco. So it's very critical and very important. Sometimes, and that's why also I'm advocating for footprints. We can't have a development agency in the land and not at the member states level. So we are opening offices now. And we are opening offices. Right now we have Kenya and Nigeria, but I'm going after this to sign the host agreement with Congo, then Chad, Central Africa, and it's a demand driven. We don't force countries, but countries should know the benefit. You need to have your own development agency.
Exactly.
You need to insulate the politics, both exogenous and endogenous, and try to have your own that you can trust. You need to have an agency that could help you even, coordinate all the development activities and make sure that these development activities and support that you get in your countries are really geared towards your priorities. You need to have a support there, and it can only be done by your own agency. I've been in the UN, so I know what I'm talking about. It's not the same thing. The passion is not the same, the interest is not the same, the allegiance is not the same. You can be an African working in another organization. It's not the same thing when you work for Africa as an African. And therefore, we are opening our footprints, and that will enhance in terms of exchange of information. We have so much wealth of knowledge. Each member country has so much. If we can just bring Moroccan experience to where it's needed, it's such a great thing. So we want to be a knowledge repository organization. And I keep on telling everybody, we are a development organization, created with mandates. One is to coordinate all development activities, because member states have realized that, with all this crowded development space, the impact that they're getting is minimal. Okay. And second is knowledge is everywhere, and it doesn't come from outside, but from within. And we need to be a knowledge repository organization to really make sure that this knowledge is mobile and grows and is built.
Yeah.
In Morocco, if you have something, and for sure, similar thing is in South Africa.
Exactly.
And South Africa, through that knowledge, they have upgraded their knowledge. There is no need for you to upgrade your knowledge because it's a waste of money. And that's how we can grow from lower equilibrium to higher equilibrium in the trend of growth. And therefore, that is our job to do. And the last one is resource mobilization resources for you. Because in any case, because there are so many fragmented organizations, be it NGOs and whatever, and fighting stories, there are many. But these fragmented, organizations are dipping into the same bucket, pot, right? So it's fragmented the way that they want to fragment it. And we are more and more capitalizing them than doing the development work. So, we would like really to be the resource mobilization, arm of the continent. So these are the things that we need to do, but help us. Help us in making people understand who we are. Help us in making sure that we shape our, actions. Like you said, rightly so, tell us, you're not there, we don't feel you. Yes, we have to be fair. This is how you can make us. I don't see any critics about the agency in a very bad way, but in a very positive way. And I say, listen, is that negative? Not negative, it's not even negative. Critics is constructive. That constructive engagement with you that will make us grow and be service delivery mechanism that is efficient, effective, and delivering for the people of Africa. So, I think, I get very emotional about, things like this, yes, renewable energy. I was with your minister, and we have agreed. We said that we're going to map all what there is, as I said also, in terms of renewable energy. You know why? Because when each country negotiates for even the global fund, for the climate fund, you're already weak. It's a country. But if we put all our assets and say, this is it, and we need this, and this is how it is, then we become a force. So, we're mapping also all these renewable energy sources, the knowledge that is there, the innovation that is there, and trying to see on how to build on that. So, give us time. It takes time, because it takes also resources, and our member states are not giving us resources. I don't want to say that loudly. That is also something that we need to fight. Member states' resources are coming down, but development partners are having confidence. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So, but with time, we'll get there. But we need you. Really, we need you. And I think it's not about the person, it's about really the organization. It's such a powerful organization. And also, I keep on saying that it's very important that we don't have capacity, we say we don't have capacity, and we can cry saying that we don't have capacity. But the capacities are there in many countries. That in telling member states, if you have the right competencies, pay for them and put them, avail them to us. But now with the footprints also, if we have our offices, then they will be deploying that capacity in the offices. So, we're going to go bigger and stronger, So that is, this footprint is very important. Tell your governments we need a development, our own African Development Agency there, all right? And associated to that, maybe I can just tackle something. We are also in the process of establishing a development fund. Because we need a development fund that will respond to our priority areas. Like I said, it's fragmented.
Exactly.
Then we will be the ones that will say, okay, fine. We need all the expertise, right? But it should be us that allocate the resources. It should be us that allocate the areas where development partners should concentrate. So we're establishing development fund. It's going to have a differentiated products and services. It's not going to be repeating the same thing because we have so many funds coming and going and dying. But we want a development fund that has a stream, a real sustainable stream of revenue, and also a development fund that comes out with differentiated, product and services, a development fund that will serve, the banks that are there, that are doing development projects in the absence of a development agency. So they can transfer the funds with their projects to us.